according to my app, I'm in week 7 of my pregnancy. And Friday will make week 8. And Friday will make knowing for 3 weeks that I've been pregnant. You know, giving them all the nice, beautiful details they want. If you don't want details, don't watch this video. When I originally bought these, I thought that 50 strips was way too much, or 25 strips was way too much, and now I think I'm gonna end up peeing on all of them because I'm obsessed with just seeing that I am still, in fact, carrying something that's producing this hormone. Less than a minute. Blazing red. Blazing big old fat positive. Alright folks.
Hello.
The wife here. We're on the way to the hospital. I got an order to get an ultrasound and I'm terrified. Yay. It looks like he's not in a spooky Halloween mood.
Oh, wow.
I'm terrified for the both of us, babe. It's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine. It's Thursday, October 24th, sometime in the afternoon, minutes to 1. Kind of running late for this appointment, but you know, it's gonna be great. Couldn't find my wallet that had my license and health insurance card and stuff in it, so we had to stop by work after tearing the whole house up. I think I already have, you know, pregnancy brain. I just be forgetting stuff, man. It's horrible. I was already pretty forgetful to begin with, so let's see how this goes. We're going to this emergency ultrasound order because when we were on vacation last week, on Friday, I started bleeding. It was disgusting. It was a lot of blood. I put a plate on my stomach and a hot plate on my stomach, or a warm plate, because you know it wasn't that hot. I didn't burn myself. I put a warm plate on my stomach, and then when I sat up, this blood just rushed down, and it was bright red, and it went through my pajama pants and everything. It was bad. And then I just kept bleeding, and we didn't even really have time to stop and take care of it because we had to go to a wedding within an hour of when that happened. So
I didn't know it was like at that point because I was in the room out the room already getting ready for the wedding because I was in the wedding.
Well, you had stopped by.
And you had told me about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I got really, really sad. I was like, boy.
And there was clumps in there. It was not a good time. Not a good time at all. Wasn't looking good. I was very concerned. Shouldn't be bleeding while, you know, only 5-6 weeks pregnant. And since then, it's not gotten that much better. It's no longer bright red. It's not, you know, gushing like that first moment where it was just everywhere and spilling on everything. So it's under more control. But now it's like, you know, it's still spotting every now and again, and it's nasty and brown. It's not cute. And so I thought, you know, maybe I'll wait it out for a few days and it'll stop, and it didn't stop. So I saw a gynecologist last year who took out my IUD, and I didn't really like how she treated me. I didn't like how I felt after meeting with her, so I was like, I'm gonna find a new gynecologist. Found a new gynecologist, went for my annual exam and everything, liked her a lot. And then like 3 days later after that appointment, I found out I was pregnant. And when I called the office, they're like, oh, good luck with that. You need to find an OB because we don't do that stuff here. Like, you know, the first gyno OB that I went to, I didn't like how she made me feel. The second one I went to didn't do pregnancy stuff. And so now for the third time, I had to go look for somebody. I went on Googled all the places nearby, seeing which doctors have the best ratings and stuff, especially looking for doctors who specialize in early pregnancy. And they sent me to the Cleveland Clinic. So I did multiple things. I panicked So I called the Cleveland Clinic, and the nurse was actually quite helpful. She asked me about all my symptoms on the hotline. They scheduled me immediately for an appointment during the 8th week of pregnancy. I don't remember what date I gave you, babe. Was it the 12th? Oh, the 12th of November. They immediately scheduled me for an appointment for the 8th week of pregnancy on the 12th of November or the 9th week, whenever.
I think it was the 9th. I don't think it was the 8th. I think it was the 9th.
They immediately scheduled me for my first prenatal visit, and then they transferred me immediately to the nurse because I was like, I'm very concerned because I'm bleeding and it's just not normal and I've been cramping. And so they transferred me to the nurse, and she had all these questions. She asked me if I went to the ER, and I was like, ER? I was supposed to go to the ER? Nobody told me that if I was bleeding, I was supposed to go to the ER. And I was on a boat. There was no ER on the boat, but I didn't tell her all that. I was just panicking. And then she asked me if I was already seeing a doctor, a gynecologist, or OB in my town. And I told her what happened. I was like, the first gynecologist I was going to, I didn't like, and then the second one I went to said they don't do OB stuff. She's like, well, can't they just order some blood work for you? And I was like, that's what I was asking, but they just told me to go to y'all. Because when I asked them if they could, confirm my pregnancy, they're like, oh, we're just going to do a pregnancy test just like the one you have at home, so it doesn't make sense for you to come to us. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're not doing any blood tests or nothing. So the nurse felt really bad for me. So she's like, you know what? I'm going to see if one of our doctors can do some blood work for you, order some blood work. So she called me back within like half an hour, and then she was like, all right, you need to go down and get some blood work done today. How soon can you go? And I was like, oh, I like your pep in your step. And so she had already called in put it in my chart that they were ordering blood work. And so we went and did that. And that was Tuesday. Now it's Thursday. It's been a doozy. But at least I didn't go to the ER because that would have been expensive. I was watching YouTube videos and some people just like, when they were bleeding, they just live in the ER. I'm like, how are you paying for all those visits? So while I was panicking, because she was like, oh, well, we don't have you in our system. You've never come to see us before. We don't have any charts for you. We don't even know what your blood type is. And like, depending on your blood type is going to depend on what the course of action might be for you, especially if you're actually having a miscarriage. And I was like, I don't even know my blood type. And I was like, and I know this this gynecologist that I just started going to doesn't know my blood type either. So then I called the original hospital with the gyno that I don't like and tried to get an appointment with her, told them what was going on, and they were just not helpful again. They were like, oh, we can get you in next week, Tuesday or something. And I was like, they're like, would you like us to schedule? I'm like, you know what, fine. Let's see if this thing don't work out with the Cleveland Clinic. Let me get on Mercy's radar too. But then once I got the appointment with Cleveland Clinic and they had drawn my blood, I called back. I was like, I'm gonna just cancel that Monday appointment. Yesterday, I got a call from the nurse who took my call on Tuesday, and she said that they did my blood. They ran my blood levels and everything was measuring normal, that the HCG levels was, I don't know what she said. I don't know if she said 58,000 or 5,800, whatever it is, but she said it was measuring where it was supposed to be measuring. And so they scheduled for me to come in today to do the ultrasound and probably to follow up with some more blood work. And the directions were to come with a full bladder. They asked me if I knew where the hospital was, and I was like, I don't know where the hospital is. I don't know anything about Cleveland or Lorraine County. I just live here.
I feel like I probably know more than you.
You sure do.
And I heard of Fairview Hospital before.
But yeah, it has been a doozy, and now we're on the way to hopefully get some more answers, but probably get more questions.
So get more questions. Answers to at least other questions. I don't know. I feel like either way, we're gonna find out what we need to find out and continue pushing forward like we always do.
Looking at me, looking at you, looking at me. But yeah, so that's where we're off to next. That's where we to next.
That's where we to next.